How's it going, everybody? Today I have a very interesting video on why long-term thinking feels very lonely at times. And that's just the truth. I mean, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to think long-term. And that can be a little difficult and that can be lonely. But if you believe in yourself and you think, hey, I want something greater than myself, I want to provide value to the world, I want to do this, I want to make an actual impact in people's lives, then you got to understand that you're going to be lonely. And why that loneliness is a competitive advantage. And sometimes loneliness isn't a bad thing. It allows you to recoup your thoughts. It allows you to gather things that you never thought before. It allows you to think in a different way that you never thought about before. It allows so many different opportunities that people just don't seem to understand. And that is why it's so powerful. And people always tend to forget that. Long term thinking feels lonely, but it's worth it because in the end, it gets you to where you want to be, thus allowing you to make an actual impact in people's lives. So without further ado, let's get started. Let me share my presentation here for you guys. Okay, this is the core problem. Most people think short term. They chase the quick wins, the quick instant gratification dopamine hits, seeking immediate validation from others, and prioritizing comfort over their growth. They optimize for today's pleasure, but they don't want tomorrow's results. Long term thinkers play it differently. You understand that real transformation will happen gradually and not immediately. While others are sprinting towards the nearest reward, long term thinkers are building their foundations that will matter years from now. The divergence creates friction, and that's exactly the point. The point is that you understand that whatever you're doing now, even though you may not see anything, you know that as long as you keep doing it, repeating the same steps over and over again, you'll ultimately lead to success. That's just what it takes. It takes the basics, like repeating my other thing. It's all about repetition, engraving something in your mind, doing something repeatedly, until it's so in your head that it becomes your identity. Why you feel out of sync? When you commit to thinking long term, your behavior will naturally diverge from the crowd. It's not a flaw, it's evidence that you're actually on the right path. You start saying no more often. You decline opportunities that don't align with your vision, and that just becomes routine. You know where you want to go, you know where you need to be, so why diverge from it? That's something I'm still trying to learn, I'll be completely honest. And I'm starting to get used to it, saying more no's, and understanding that I need time for myself and I need to focus on things that will actually move the needle forward. You move slower externally. While others rush from the trend to trend, you're building something sustainable. While people are trying drop shipping, they're trying copywriting, they're trying all these different things. You're just focusing on that one stream that you know if you build the foundations, it will lead to prosperous results. You sacrifice the early rewards, so you don't seek that immediate gratification. You take a back seat and then you let the compounding progress. Others won't understand this math or this calculus because they're playing a different game and they have different rules. Your patience looks like hesitation, but you know exactly what you're doing. And that is what gets you far. This just gets me so excited because you need to learn how to think differently. And that is what puts you in a whole different game. See, long term thinking is quiet. There's no applauses, no likes. You don't get any recognition. Progress is happening, but it's invisible. The most meaningful work happens beneath the surface. It's like the roots growing from deep underground. Your daily efforts are building a foundation that eventually supports something remarkable. But right now, it's invisible to everyone. And sometimes it may be even invisible to you. And that's why it leads us to go astray from our goals. Because if we don't see it, we don't see the results, we get unmotivated to keep doing it and we eventually stop because we don't actually see anything fruitful from it. But you knowing that you're building the roots deep underground, you understand that you will see the results. Trust the process, even if you can't see the result yet. You see, there's a short term pleasure versus long term gain. There's a short term path, the long term path. The immediate comfort and ease, constant distractions that feel urgent. You get easy dopamine hits that fade quickly. It feels good now, but compounds into regret eventually because you can't focus on one thing. Discipline from long term growth builds a character, productive boredom, and creates space, delayed rewards that transform lives. It may feel difficult now, but it compounds into freedom as long as you focus and just stay in the path. Every day, you're choosing which path to compound. The gap between these choices widens exponentially over time. And you need to know what choices to make. The reason why most people can't do this is because long term thinking isn't just a strategy, it's a rare capability that most people never end up developing. You need to have emotional control, which means managing your impulses when everyone else is reacting. Staying calm even when the path isn't clear. You need to have extreme deep patience. You may have to wait months, years for results without losing motivation. You gotta trust the timeline, even when the progress doesn't feel like it's there. You need to have self trust, unwavering self trust. You need to believe in the direction you're going, even when no one else seems to agree with it. Staying committed despite the external doubt allows you to stay centered. You see, most people quit before the results show. They abandon their path right before the compound curve begins its upward trajectory. Sorry, I had to emphasize that. The ones who make it aren't necessarily smarter. They just stayed in the game long enough to see their results compound. As you know, there's a curve. Let me see if I can add an extension here. Nah. Well, there's a compound growth. Like Albert Einstein says, it's the eighth wonder of the world. You may not see it, but it eventually compounds into this giant snowball that just has a crazy effect on your life. Loneliness is a filter, the natural selection. Loneliness isn't punishment. It's a mechanism that separates those who are serious about what they do from those who are curious. It removes the distractions. When you're alone with your goals, superficial pursuits fall away naturally. It sharpens who you are. You discover who you really are when external validation disappears because you're not trying to prove anything to anyone else. You know what you need to do and you have passion for it. And that's what matters. And it builds deep focus. Isolation creates a space for concentration that crowds can never provide. Deep focus is what we need in today's world. There's a book where I read it before, I forgot the name of the writer, but it mentions how we have time blocks and we need deep focus now because today there's so much distractions in this world that take away our attention constantly that we must learn to build a deep focus on the activities that we need to do. The loneliness you feel isn't a sign you're on the wrong path. It's a confirmation you're on the path few others can also walk. This is where identity is built. While others are constantly chasing the noise of trends and validation, something profound is happening in the silence of yourself. You're building real skills. You don't have surface level familiarity. You have deep competence that takes years to develop. And it can't be faked because you have so much proof that you've been doing it for such a long time. Compounding habits. Small daily actions that seem insignificant create exponential returns over time. It's amazing to see. And you start seeing the results, truly. And I'm starting to see that. Not money-wise, but in career-wise. And the ease of me being able to connect with others due to all the experiences that I've acquired over the years, all the resources I've built, is really compounding into what will eventually turn into income, which I can then use to make a bigger impact in this world. Becoming consistent. Reliability becomes your signature. You show up regardless of motivation or mood. Identity doesn't form in the spotlight, it forms in silence. Every private hour you invest is a brick, and that is the foundation of who you're becoming. The structure being built in these quiet moments will define your next decade. Build those little bricks step by step, and you will see how strong your foundation will be. The mindset shift is you need to stop asking, why does it feel lonely? When will people understand? Why do I feel so behind? But you need to start asking, what am I compounding right now? How am I 1% better than yesterday? What will this look like in 5 years, in 10 years? There's a famous quote that I've already said, and I'll say it again. People overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can do in 10. The question you ask yourself shapes your reality. Stop seeking validation for the lonely path. Start tracking the invisible progress that compounds beneath the surface. Start planning long term for the things to come, and you'll see the compound happen. Imagine what you can do in 10 years if you just focused and you just did this one thing and you didn't let your distractions get in your way. Think about how far ahead you will be right now. Long term thinkers feel lonely early, but that's because they win later. The loneliness you feel today. Let me go ahead and stop recording. The loneliness you feel today is the price of the freedom you'll earn tomorrow. Every day you stay patient. Every moment you stay focused. You're separating yourself from the crowd that couldn't handle the silence. If there's one thing you need to take away from today, is, by the way, like, subscribe, and follow for more, is stay patient, stay focused. Your time is coming. I pray on your success. Don't let other people distract from your goals and your inhibitions, and focus on your health. I'll see you at the top. I'm rooting for you.